Dear friends, I hope this message finds you well and feeling more hopeful, at peace, as you're practicing tuning into your strengths. In the last video, you heard me mention the Clifton Strengths Assessment. I'm sure you've come across many an assessment in your day. What's so special about this one? I'm Nermeen Zachary, your Shift Up coach. I help people figure out who they are so they can own it and articulate it, then go do it on purpose to make their very personal and meaningful mark on our world. The key is focusing on strengths building instead of weakness fixing. Today, let's talk a little bit more about the Clifton Strengths Assessment and explore why we need this one in particular. I'd like to frame our conversation with a question. Have you ever been to a job interview and have been asked a strengths or weaknesses question? Well, how do you answer? Are you able to get specific enough so that the interviewer can learn something unique about you to differentiate you from other candidates? Or do you tend to give a more generic answer like, I'm a people person, or I'm good with numbers kind of answer? Hang on to that for a moment and we'll come back to it. Let's go back in time a little. Back to the 1950s. Psychologists at that time realized that all they knew about people is what's wrong with them. They had labels for all of our ailments, all of our deficiencies. Then they started to notice pockets of excellence, moments of extraordinary performance, and they realized we don't know anything about that. Donald Clifton, known today as the father of strengths psychology and grandfather of positive psychology, posed this question. He asked, what would happen if we started focusing on what's right with people instead of fixating on what's wrong with them? This one question launched a worldwide research project that resulted in the discovery of hundreds of talents that researchers were then able to bubble down into 34 general talent themes. In the year 2001, they proceeded to write an assessment that ranks all 34 talent themes for you in the order of dominance. For your initial investment, you'll get your top 5 talent themes. That's the beginning of your strengths journey. It's not just any assessment or simple 4-quadrant personality test, by the way. To be precise, it's 177 paired statements. With each one, you're asked to decide, do you really think, feel, and behave like this? Or think, feel, and behave like this? Or somewhere in between? It's timed. That means you have to answer with your gut, with your first reaction, not to overthink it. The vast majority of people who take the assessment say, wow, that's me. How did they do that? A very rare few, like yours truly, get their results and don't like them, actually disagree and say, nope, these aren't my strengths. I'll leave that story for another episode. What kept coming up for me was, after having taken the assessment and having attended this amazing workshop, only to realize, by the way, that they were indeed my strengths, was why? Why do I need an assessment to tell me who I am? Why don't I know? That workshop was a paradigm shift for me. So much so that all I could think was, everybody needs to know their strengths. Everybody needs to know their strengths. I was so moved to the point where I sought out training and certification so that I could have quality conversations with folks about their strengths. Yet I still kept coming back to that question. Why? Why do I need an assessment? Why don't I know how to answer? Get specific enough when someone asks, "Tell me about yourself. What are your strengths?" I decided to do my own little research project. I asked friends, clients, colleagues how they felt about this phenomenon. What I heard from some was that growing up, they were taught it wasn't polite to speak about themselves, that they'd be perceived as being arrogant and wouldn't be liked. Some others were taught to serve with humility, never taking credit for what they may have done well or have contributed. In either scenario, they never really noticed or took the time to pay close attention and truly acknowledge, let alone speak about their strengths. I'm guessing that there are some nods in agreement as you listen. Another reason that resonates is that because our strengths are so innate to us, we can't actually see them. They're just simply how we operate, how we see the world, how we interact with others, how we make decisions. We don't see them as anything special. It's just who we are. They come with us everywhere we go. In fact, because they happen so naturally, we may wonder why others can't do what we do or see things the way that we see them. We might even get a little annoyed. Because our strengths are so innate and because we don't see them, it requires an external resource to pull them out. Something outside of ourselves to uncover them, reveal them, shed some light, expose them, if you will, so we can see them, recognize them, speak to them, and use them more purposefully. And that, my friends, is the importance of having an external source, a tool, an assessment. We are blessed to live in a day and time where there is now reliable data, a science behind the question, a masterful algorithm, and most importantly, a language, relatable words that help us recognize our strengths, own them, articulate them, so we can go use them to make our unique and important contributions in this world. Details on how to access the Clifton Strengths Assessment can be found below this video. While you're there, I hope that you'll subscribe and plan to come back regularly. If you do decide to take the assessment, I do hope that you'll send me your top 5. I would love to see them, to see you. Let's get you started on your personal strengths journey. As always, my wish for you is that you will rise to your strength's edge because it's in you. Until next time, my friends, be well and safe.